Hi everyone, I am Naveed Askar and today I am going to discuss phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are actually a combination of verb and a preposition or adverb. The phrasal verbs are the it's a challenging task to memorize them, to remember them, even for the native speaker. And what's the reason behind the level of their difficulty is there is no logic in the meaning they convey. On the surface level, they might be saying something else, but in actuality, they mean something else. So you cannot guess, you cannot speculate the meaning of the meaning of the phrasal verbs by looking at the surface level. So what you have to do, you have to memorize them, you have to parrot them, you have to ape them, and then after rigorous exercise, these phrasal verbs sit in your mind. So, and one more thing, though it is said that there is no rationale, there is no reason behind the meaning of those phrasal verbs, but I to some extent have dig out some reason, some rationale behind the meaning. So the way I am going to discuss these phrasal verbs, the way I am going to elaborate its meanings, so I be trying to make it rational, make it logical, so that you could grab the meaning. So the first phrasal verb which I am going to discuss is the motorbike zipped by the car stuck in the traffic jam. So the first phrasal verb is zipped by. So what you are supposed to do while learning phrasal verb is that you have to pay attention, you have to pay heed to both the words, verb and preposition. So we have here verb zipped and by is a preposition. So zip is something which is associated with the movement. You know, if I be wearing a zipper, so if I zip my jacket, it moves upward or downwards. And the word by, it also denote movement. So zip by is what it means that something goes past you. By is means it goes past. So zip by means when something moves past you. So it means what zip by means when something moves across. The motorbike zipped by the cars, it means that moved past the cars, those cars which were stuck in what traffic jam. So the first word zip by, zip also denote movement, by also denote movement, zip denote movements, denote a kind of movement which passes through something. Zip by means that thing move past another thing. So the next word is we zipped around the supermarket to get the shopping done. Now zip, movement. In order to memorize this phrasal verbs, you need to pay focus, you need to pay heed to what around. Around means not at only one specific point, it means round the corner, all the sides. So when you zip around, it means you move across the things, you move through every place. So zip around means moving in different places of something. So we zipped around the supermarket. Why? They keep on moving around the supermarket towards all the sides to get the shopping done. Next is he was being stupid in the meeting, so we told him to zip up. Now zip, movement up means upward. It denotes movement from bottom towards top. So just look at my face. So when somebody asks me to zip up means zip up. It means to stop speaking, to stay silent. So he was was told to zip up means silent. So up means movement from bottom to top. Next is he was angling for invitation. So angle is never straight. So when you angle for an invitation, it means you don't ask directly for the invitation, but indirectly you say, or you wish that you are what invited. He has been angling for invitations. It means that he was indirectly asking for the invitation, but I do not want to see his face. Only a mother could what love. So this is an idiom. A face only a mother could love. So what I am trying actually to do, that each of my lecture will have multitasking. Now this lecture is going to focus on phrasal verbs, and one idiom I have inserted in the sentence so that you could grab one idiom while learning what phrasal verbs. So this idiom was discussed in one of my previous lectures. So he has been angling for invitation, but I do not want to see his face. Only a mother could love. So it means a face which is ugly, which only a mother could love. So a face only a mother could love means a person, a chap with an ugly face. So angling for, this was what phrasal verbs. This was a phrasal verb, zip up and zipped around. So these are the phrasal verbs which we have discussed. Next is I can bank on him during my rainy days. So bank on means, let's guess it by the words. Why do we put the money in the bank? Because we trust that our money will be saved. So when you bank on somebody, it means you can rely on that person. As we do rely on banks, that our money is what? That's safe. So I can bank on, it means to rely on him during my rainy days. It's another idiom. It means during tough times, hard times. Next is he has been down. When you are down, it means you are not up. Up means happy. Up means elated, in a good mood. When you are down, it means you're not feeling well. You are out of sorts. Another idiom for down is what? Out of sorts. Out of sorts. Out of sorts mean when you're feeling unwell. He has been down since the demise of his father. Demise, though it's a formal word, it means death of his father. And in the passing, let me discuss an important stuff. Phrasal verbs are used in what? In informal language, especially for the O-level students. It is used for informal letters, it is used in speech, and it is used in what? Spoken English, and especially in the dialogues and the narrative essays. He bigs himself up all the time. Big means something huge. Big up means when something is big, you try to stretch it more. So actually you are not at that level, but you are trying to exaggerate. So when you big yourself up, it means you are trying to exaggerate. So this one is the idiom big up. All the time it means he is always boosting, he is always bragging, exaggerating about his personality or his achievements or whatever the case may be. Next is during the robbery he fought with the robbers with tooth and nail. Another idiom, it was discussed in the previous lectures. And clawed back his smartphone. So clawed back is what? A phrasal verbs. So just like the claws of what? Of an animal. So clawed back means you pull it back. It means you get something with difficulty. In his scuffle with the robbers, he did his best in order to what? Achieve that thing, and that thing here it means what? His smartphone. So clawed back means to get something forcefully with force, with violence. Next phrasal verb is the staffs are allowed to dress down. So dress down, when you are dressed up, it means you are in best dressed, you are in formal dress, and when you are dressed down, it means you are in casual dress. So the staff are allowed to dress casually on Fridays. Next is he is always fishing for compliments. Have you ever fished? What you do? in the water you do this way in order to what catch the fish, because the fish are always what slippery, so it's hard to find them. So when you are fishing for compliments, you are trying to get as much compliment as possible. So fish for is a phrasal verb. It means to try hard to get the approval of the people. So these are the idioms. So at the end of the day, I would like to say that these phrasal verbs, they are used in our daily conversation. If you want to be well versed in spoken English, if you want to good or could write to, if you want to write a quality informal letters, if you want to engage in a lively conversation, then you must be adept at all these phrasal verbs. And for the O-level students, they are not supposed to worry that they have to memorize thousands of phrasal verbs. There are certain limited amount of phrasal verbs which they need to acquaint themselves with, and those phrasal verbs which come in handy in their exam situations. So not all the phrasal verbs you have to be choosy when it comes to memorizing the phrasal verb. I am referring to O-level students. So those phrasal verbs, they need to memorize these phrasal verbs which come in handy during the exam situations. So that's it for today. Thank you very much.